In the early hours of the morning, while most of the world slept, a dramatic and dangerous mission was unfolding off the coast of Venezuela. Rough waters, darkness, fear of detection, and the shadow of multiple intelligence agencies all surrounded one woman whose face had become a symbol of resistance. Nobel Peace Prize laureate María Corina Machado was being quietly pulled out of one of the most tightly controlled countries in the world, not through airports or official borders, but through the sea, under cover of night. This was not a routine escape. According to Bryan Stern, a U.S. Special Forces veteran and the founder of the Gray Bull Rescue Foundation, this was the most difficult and delicate mission his team had ever attempted. Stern, whose organization has conducted more than 800 rescue operations and saved over 8,000 people worldwide, said that this extraction stood apart from all the rest. For the first time, he explained, they were rescuing someone so globally recognizable that she had her own Wikipedia page. That visibility alone multiplied the danger. The operation lasted nearly 16 hours and was carried out largely in darkness. Machado first boarded a small boat from the Venezuelan coastline, leaving behind a country where she had spent months in hiding. From there, she traveled through cold, rough waters to a secret rendezvous point at sea. That is where she met Bryan Stern, waiting on another vessel. The transfer between boats happened at night, under extreme tension, knowing that at any moment they could be spotted, intercepted, or worse. Stern later described the journey as long, exhausting, and emotionally intense. He said the risk was unlike anything they had faced before because of Machado's identity. Her face, her name, and her global recognition meant that multiple intelligence services were actively searching for her. According to Stern, Venezuelan intelligence, Cuban intelligence, and even elements of Russian intelligence were all believed to be monitoring movements related to her, especially in the days leading up to the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. The danger was heightened further by the timing. Machado had just been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, one of the highest honors in the world. This made her not only a political dissident but an international symbol. Stern explained that this single factor made the operation significantly more dangerous than any rescue his team had conducted before. Every move had to be calculated. Every minute mattered. By Tuesday night, Machado successfully boarded Stern's vessel. From there, she was transported to a different location, still under secrecy. By early Wednesday morning, the boat reached shore. From that point, Machado boarded a plane that would take her far away from Venezuela, first to Curacao, then to the United States, and finally onward to Norway. Flight tracking data later confirmed that the plane departed from Curacao early Wednesday morning, stopped briefly in Bangor, Maine, and then continued to Oslo. The Dutch embassy in Caracas, which handles relations for Curacao and nearby islands, denied any involvement in the escape, emphasizing that this was not a state-sponsored evacuation. Machado arrived in Oslo just hours after the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony had already concluded. Her daughter accepted the prize on her behalf during the ceremony, as Machado was still in transit at the time. When she finally reached Norway, she was welcomed by cheering supporters who had gathered outside Oslo's Grand Hotel. Standing on the balcony, she waved to the crowd, many of whom were Venezuelans living in exile, holding flags and chanting her name. This was Machado's first public appearance in nearly a year. After Venezuela's disputed election last year and the government's crackdown on dissent, she had gone into hiding. Her only brief reappearance came in January, when she emerged to attend a protest against the swearing-in of President Nicolas Maduro. Since then, her whereabouts had remained largely unknown, adding to the mystery and danger surrounding her situation. In Oslo, Machado spoke about the future of Venezuela and the hope of one day returning to a free and democratic nation. She said she had met many Venezuelans who dreamed of going back home once the country was liberated. Her words carried both hope and pain, reflecting the reality of millions who have fled economic collapse, political repression, and fear. Despite the successful rescue, Machado's team declined to comment on the details of the extraction and did not confirm whether Gray Bull Rescue Foundation was involved. Machado herself has acknowledged receiving support from the U.S. government in the past, but has refused to share details, saying that revealing such information could put people at risk. She said that one day, when it is safe, she would be able to tell the full story. Bryan Stern, however, made it clear that his operation was funded by anonymous donors and, to his knowledge, was not supported directly by the U.S. government. Still, he admitted that his team did communicate with the U.S. military during the mission. This was not for assistance, but for safety. At the time of the operation, the U.S. military was conducting active missions in the Caribbean, targeting alleged drug trafficking vessels. Stern said he was deeply concerned that his team's boats could be mistaken for drug-running vessels and targeted by U.S. forces. To avoid this, they informed the U.S. military that they would be operating in the area. According to Stern, the communication was carefully limited. The U.S. military was told where they would be operating and where certain rally points were located, but not the full details of the mission. Only at the very last moments and at the highest levels was the true objective disclosed. This careful coordination helped prevent a tragic mistake during an already high-risk operation. Perhaps the most emotional moment of Stern's account came when he spoke about his conversation with Machado during the journey. Sitting together on the boat, surrounded by darkness and uncertainty, they spoke about the future. Stern admitted that he begged her not to return to Venezuela. He explained that he sees Machado as a hero and an icon. He feared that if she returned, she could be arrested, tortured, or killed. From his perspective as a rescuer, the idea of putting her back into such danger was almost unbearable. Yet he also acknowledged the reality of who she is. Machado is a leader, and leaders feel a responsibility to their people, even when it means risking their own lives. This moment highlights the deep moral conflict at the heart of Machado's story. On one side is personal safety, survival, and family. On the other is duty, resistance, and the hope of national change. Stern made it clear that while he advised against her return, the final decision would always belong to her. Machado's escape is more than just a dramatic rescue story. It reflects the broader crisis in Venezuela, where political opposition leaders are forced into hiding, exile, or prison. It shows how dangerous it has become to challenge power in the country and how international recognition can sometimes increase, rather than reduce, personal risk. At the same time, the operation reveals the existence of quiet, behind-the-scenes networks working to protect individuals at extreme risk. Organizations like Grey Bull Rescue Foundation operate far from public attention, navigating legal gray zones, hostile environments, and life-or-death decisions. For many Venezuelans watching this story unfold, Machado's safe arrival in Norway is both a relief and a reminder of what has been lost. A leader forced to flee her homeland. A nation where peaceful political opposition requires escape by sea under cover of darkness. A future that remains uncertain. Yet there is also hope. Machado is alive. She is free. She has reunited with her daughter after 2 years apart. She has stood before the world as a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, carrying the voice of millions who cannot speak freely themselves. Whether she ever returns to Venezuela remains an open question. What is certain is that her story and the perilous mission that brought her to safety will be remembered as one of the most dramatic chapters in the ongoing struggle for democracy in Venezuela. And as Bryan Stern said, out of hundreds of rescues and thousands of lives saved, this one stood above the rest. Not because of fame alone, but because it showed just how dangerous truth, courage, and leadership can be in a world where power fears change.